Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Can we start?
Sure, sir.
Okay, see. Any doubts?
Sir, I had texted you on WhatsApp. There was a doubt.
What is that? I didn't see that. Tell me.
Sir, that was a very long statement. I had texted you on the WhatsApp. You can see.
Okay, then I will reply after the class.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. No problem.
Okay. Yeah, I saw, but I was busy. No, I couldn't even read that.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, I will check it evening. I'll message you, reply.
Sure.
What else? Any other doubts?
Yes, sir, I have a doubt, sir.
Tell me.
The sociology among the distinct disciplines is on rationality and scientific temper. So what is the scientific temper?
Scientific temper is related to the rational thoughts, everything related to rationality. Like, even in your fundamental duties also you can see that word scientific temper. Even in constitution also you can see that word. So it's all about, modernity, it's all about progressive in nature. Everything will come as part of scientific temper. Progressive thinking, importance of science, not the theoretical science, the thing based on logic, reason, all these things will come. It is I don't know what is the proper way to define scientific temper, but I hope you understood what I mean to say.
Yes, sir, yes.
Rationality and scientific temper. So with the coming discussion, you will be in a position to write that answer. Even whatever discussion that we have undertaken, it is all based on rationality and scientific temper only. It is modernity is all about rationality. Mostly it is all about rationality. For example, rational organization of production. And then we have talked about when you connect the scientific temper, we have talked about this intellectual contribution. So everything is based on logic and reason. The religious explanations were questioned. So everything is based on scientific temper rather than religious explanations.
Okay.
So we have already discussed when we discussed about modernity, the different dimensions. In that itself, this is coming, but more we will see that.
Okay.
Comparison with other subjects. I've told you that I will discuss in the future session. I've not done that with the first batch also. I will discuss that later, because why I'm keeping it for later is basically it is very easy for me to explain it towards the end. Once we complete all the thinkers, we are going to study all the thinkers, and in all the thinkers you will see a lot of overlapping. For example, when we talk about Marx, you will see a lot from related to psychology, related to economy, related to political science. Marxian ideas about politics are coming. Marxian idea about the economic system is coming. Marxian idea about alienation is connected to psychology. Similarly, different thinkers, these subjects are overlapping. So it will be better for you to study and also for me to teach you in a better way after we complete the thinkers. That's why I kept it apart. Okay, yeah. Anything else? Yeah. Any others? Any doubts?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, so can we start with today's session?
Yes.
You went through the PDF?
Yes.
So today topic is sociology. Sociology as science, right? So can anyone tell me the context of this debate? Why this question is there? Why what is the context of this debate? If you know, like yesterday when we discussed about sociology and common sense, we have started off with the context, and once you know the context, this is going to be easy for you. And I tell you, I just need 4 points only to explain this. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 points is enough to complete this answer. And this is the only 5 points that you also need to keep in mind, and you will be in a position to write beautiful answer for this particular question. Just 5 points, that's enough for you to write the complete answer. But the only thing is that you need to know the context of this question. Can anyone tell me what is the context of this question? Sociology as science, or sociology as science? What is the context?
Maybe we can say during the emergence of sociology due to modernity.
Yes.
There was emergence of scientific temper also because of the Darwin theory.
Yes.
Seeing all the development in the scientific field, but those who were observing the society, the changes in the society, they also understand that we can solve the problems of society in terms of which is based on the science also.
Yes.
Because there was scientific development at that time. That was the reason, because early sociologists were the positivists. That's why this is the discussion that whether sociology as a science or not, because this criticism, the question arises due to whether sociology is a science or not. The question arises when the non-positivist concept came up. Okay, during the positivist time, the question was not there because only scientific temper was there. But due to due to non-positivist, the question arises and the further discussion is there.
Okay, see, only the person who's talking, except others, except that person, can everybody turn off the mic? The mics are on, all the mics are on, so much disturbance is there. So please keep this point in mind, keep the mics off, only the person who talk will keep the mic on. So many people are there, so it will be so disturbing if you keep the mics on. Even the small sounds that is over there in your area can make it big, okay? So yeah, that what Asif said is correct. We have already discussed that in the beginning itself. It is all related to science, scientific temper, rationality, etc. But what the main point that you need to focus is the initial sociologist. Sociology was actually a very young discipline. Sociology emerged in 1838. So initial sociologist, what was their orientation? Their orientation was to make sociology similar to natural science. So the initial sociologists wanted to make sociology similar to natural science. Like if you remember in the emergence of sociology itself, we have talked about Auguste Comte, right? So what Auguste Comte thought of? Auguste Comte thought of social physics. So he thought of social physics on the line similar to natural science physics. And he was expecting that similar laws can be possible in social science also. Similarly, Auguste Comte also wanted to make it on the line similar to natural science, and he proposed to form universal laws, like what is in the case of science, like Newton's laws, etc. Similar universal laws are possible in sociology according to Comte. But he also framed certain universal law. All these are proved wrong later. We will come to all those things later in our discussion. Or when we oppose science, we can say that even the universal laws or the claimed universal laws of Comte have been proved wrong later. That we can say. So you can see initial sociologists, their orientation was basically to make sociology very similar to natural science. The reason is actually there's a very new body of knowledge, very new discipline. So if you need to get that legitimacy, if you need to get that acceptance among the academicians, right? Not only among the academicians, even among the public, common people also will start accept if it is a science only. So you wanted to make it on the line similar to natural science for the growth of the subject, for the development of the subject, for the acceptance of the subject, for the legitimacy of the subject. So in all these ways, you can see the concern of initial sociologists were to make it similar to natural science. And they have claimed that they can make universal laws, and Auguste Comte also said that. And you can see when we discussed about scope of sociology, Spencer, what Spencer did, he tried it to compare it with biology, right? Spencer compared society with an organism. Just like the subsystems in society, you can see the organs in the body, right? And then there are groups in society, you can see tissues in the body. Similarly, the ultimate element of society, who is an individual, and similarly in the organism, it is a cell. So he basically made a comparison. So you can see this kind of comparison with science, and trying to form the universal law and stressing on objectivity and use of scientific methods directly. Even the initial sociologists tried to use the methods directly from natural sciences. So all these shows their concern towards making sociology similar to natural science. The reason is you need to get that initial acceptance. So that is actually the main reason. So initial sociologists wanted to develop sociology as similar to natural science. But so what is science? Science initially was understood in terms of a body of knowledge which conforms to certain ideals like empiricism. Empiricism means external reality, something which can be seen, like something which can be touched, etc. The external reality, the matter. Empiricism, inductivism, okay, and naturalism. Naturalism means the material condition. That is also similar to empiricism only. The external realities is what I am talking about. Inductivism, I have told you yesterday, it is a process of theory building. So inductive approach is generally used in natural sciences. So science is considered as something. So what is the understanding of science? Not now, before the understanding of science, maybe during that time, 18th century, 19th century, science is understood more in terms of the body of knowledge which conforms to these three ideals: empiricism, inductivism, and naturalism. But later, the definition of science changed from this to this. I'll tell you what is that. It is actually a body of knowledge. It is not actually a body of knowledge, rather it is a method of inquiry. So later, nowadays, if you ask me what is science, science is more like a method of inquiry rather than body of knowledge. So if the method of inquiry is scientific, if it is objective, if it is in a reasoned manner, if it is rational, then you can call that body of knowledge as science. So what I'm saying is, science early understanding was this, but now science is more understood in terms of method of inquiry rather than body of knowledge. Okay, so science is understood more in terms of method of inquiry. So if the method of inquiry is objective, and if it is rational, if it is based on logic and evidence, then you can consider that body of knowledge as scientific. So keep this definition in mind, and then we are going to explain whether sociology is a science or not. So is this much clear? I've told you the context. The context is initial sociologists, they wanted to make it similar to natural science. So they started using methods from natural science. They directly started making comparison with the natural science. They tried to make universal law similar to natural science, and they have also claimed that the laws that they have made is testable also. And in that context, they claim that sociology is very much similar to natural science. Okay, and then I'm telling you what is science. Science earlier was understood in these terms. So if you see science in these terms, sociology can never be a science in these terms, because empiricism, it is very difficult, because you are studying the human being and human beings, meanings, motives, emotions, etc. So it can never be empirical. So this will not be satisfied. Inductive approach also practically very difficult in sociology. See, when I'm talking about Durkheim or initial positivist, we will talk about some methods that they have used. For example, Durkheim used statistical techniques in his theory of suicide, which is a quantitative method, and the method, the theory building was inductive, but it is actually criticized of being, deductive approach. I'll tell you what is that criticism, etc. So there is obvious limitation in using inductive approach in sociology as you're dealing with human being. There can be subjectivity, and you cannot quantify things that we are dealing in sociology to numbers. If you can quantify into numbers, it is okay. So inductivism may not be satisfied, and materialism also. These things, if this is the understanding of science, sociology is definitely not a science. But if this is the understanding of science, science is a method of inquiry rather than body of knowledge, then sociology may qualify as science. So in some areas, sociology may qualify to be a scientific discipline. Some area, sociology may not. So what we need to do now is, we need to talk about the arguments in favor for sociology being science and arguments against sociology being science. So what I've told you now is the context and the understanding of science. Now one more point that I want to tell you is, here is where I'm going to raise that 4 points. These 4 points are related to science. So any body of knowledge now can be considered as scientific if it satisfies 4 conditions. The 4 conditions are this: inter-subject reliability, okay, and the second point, quantifiability. I'll explain what is this quantifiability. Third point, objectivity. Fourth point, theoretical orientation. And the fifth point, that is testing. This is, if you want you can add this, and if you don't want you can skip this. So these are the only 5 points that you need to remember. Then you need to explain. Now what you need to do, you need to explain each point, and then you need to say the arguments in favor of sociology being a science, and then arguments against, and then you make a conclusion. So what is intersubject reliability? Intersubject reliability means if you take any elements in sociology, it should have the same meaning across subjects. So that means every concept should be defined properly, which will have the same meaning across subjects. For example, when you talk about atom, when you talk about oxygen, when you talk about nitrogen, when you talk about electron, proton, etc., all these have the same meaning across the subject, right? That's what you mean by intersubject reliability. The same meaning in all subjects. Is that okay? Any doubt here? Intersubject reliability?
No, sir.
Okay. I'm audible now.
Yes, sir.
Sir, hello.
Tell me.
Sir, can you please explain intersubject reliability again? Audio was missing.
Audio was missing for all of you?
Yeah. No, for me only, if it's possible. Otherwise, I'll have to go through the recorded.
Okay, I will explain. So one more thing I'll tell you regarding recorded classes. This I will explain anyway, but I want to tell you one important thing. You please download this app, ziasafir, from the Play Store. You can download this. And what I will do is all the videos I will provide in this app. Okay, so we will stop uploading in the YouTube. Videos will not be available in the YouTube. So if you see the previous batch, I have uploaded only till Durkheim. Now we are moving forward, but we are not uploading anything. So the same will be done with this here also. Maybe you will get the videos up to Durkheim, but after that, the videos, I'll keep it here. Download this app, ZIAS, and then you sign up. Okay, and then you send me your mail ID. You all do this. You send me your mail ID. What I'll do is I will add you from the backend. Because otherwise if you try to sign up, and otherwise they will ask you for payment for the courses, and then you can directly access the course, but here I need to add you from the backend as you have already made the payment. So all the classes will be available for 1 year. You can watch any number of time in the order, everything will be available. So there is no restriction, and I'm providing it to all the students also. Okay, so any class you are missing, you will not face any problem, and this is actually the solution for uploading in YouTube. So unnecessarily we don't want to upload in YouTube. So please do this and let me know. I will do it. I will add everyone by next week. Okay. Now regarding this thing, this point, intersubject reliability means, let's suppose I am talking about any particular topic, like any particular subject, or any particular element in the subject. For example, electron, proton, neutron, all these things which is related to science, which is having the same meaning across subjects. Any subject if you take, whether it is physics, chemistry, biology, or any subject, proton means proton, electron means electron, right? So oxygen means oxygen, nitrogen means nitrogen, carbon dioxide is the same. So these are what you mean by intersubject reliability. Across the subjects, same meaning. The meaning is not changing in different subjects. Okay, Himanshu?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, quantifiability means it should not be abstract. It should not be, unlimited scope. So, quantifiability means you have to quantify the scope of the subject. That means the definite field to explore. There should be so you know what the physics or the physicist will do, what a biology will do, what the biology will study, what chemistry will study. Okay, so all these are fixed. So there is a definite field to explore. There should be a definite field to explore. That is what we mean by quantifiability. So it should be quantified. The scope should be quantified. Is that okay? Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Then objectivity we have already discussed. Objectivity means freedom from personal biases. You may be taking investigation. So whatever investigation you do, there should be freedom from personal bias. There should not be any value lauded interpretation. You may be a Hindu and you may be conducting a study on religion. So you should not come up with a biased understanding. You may be a male or you may be a female, but you're conducting a study on domestic violence. So you should not think only from the side of female. So that is what you mean by objectivity. There should not be any biasness in the investigation. Regarding this we will have a separate topic and we will discuss in detail. Entire sociology is talking about this only, objectivity only. When we discuss about Durkheim, he is stressing on objectivity. When we talk about Weber, he is also stressing on objectivity. So various methods to ensure objectivity, and which in itself is a topic. In fact, the third topic is actually in this chapter is objectivity. So that will be done later. But as of now, I hope you understood. It is nothing but freedom from any personal bias. Okay? Next is theoretical orientation. That means the body of knowledge should be capable of generating theory. We are talking about any body of knowledge, for example, physics, chemistry, biology, whatever it is. It should be capable of generating universal theories and it must be applicable across. Okay? Okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can you repeat this?
Which one? Theoretical orientation.
Yes, sir.
Theoretical orientation means the body of knowledge should be or must be capable of making theories. It should be able to make theories, it should be able to make generalized theories which is universally applicable. And with those theories you can explain certain phenomena. So I am here talking about the conditions of science. What are the conditions of science? If a body of knowledge need to be called as science, it has to satisfy intersubject reliability, quantifiability, objectivity, theoretical orientation. It must be capable of generating theory. And last one, testing. The theory which is generated must be testable. And when you're testing, you should be able to replicate the same result. Like what you do in the physics lab, you will be able to replicate the same result each and every time when you conduct the study. Right? So that is what you mean by the 5 conditions for a body of knowledge to become science. So I hope you understood. Now these 4 conditions or 5 conditions is what you need to keep in mind. And with this, now what you can do is you can support sociology being science, and you can oppose also. You can criticize also. You can raise the arguments in favor sociology being science, and you can tell the arguments against sociology being science. So can we take one by one?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so first one, intersubject reliability. When you talk about intersubject reliability, what do you think? Sociology have intersubject reliability or not?
No, sir.
No?
No, sir.
No, sir.
The various constituents that we study, let's say family, is it having intersubject reliability, or the meaning of family is different in sociology and political science and anthropology and etc.? Is the meaning for family is same or different?
It's
Same, sir.
Same. Similarly, when we talk about religion, is the meaning is same or different?
same.
Same. So can we say so if not
Interpretation.
what interpretation? Religion interpret in the same way only. Religion means religion, family means family, but within that different types of family, different types of religion is there. But what is religion?
Yes, we can classify it further.
Yeah, religion is a set of beliefs and practices. Whatever religion you take, it is a set of belief and practices. So I am asking whether religion, the meaning of religion is same or not.
Yeah, same.
Yes, when we say family, the meaning of family is same. Within that, nuclear family may be there, extended family may be there, single parent family may be there, live-in relation may be there. All these are different things. That is the subdivisions. So the main constituents are these elements, family, religion, etc., education. All these meanings are same. So we can say a considerable amount of intersubject reliability is there in sociology.
Considerable amount of reliability, not fully.
Yeah, I'm saying considerable amount only.
Okay.
Considerable amount of intersubject reliability is there in sociology or not? Yes. See, and any time when you are using any words in sociology, you have to always use the moderate tone. Social science, you cannot use any strong tones. So always we use moderate tones. So I would say considerable amount of intersubject reliability is there in sociology. Is that okay? So I got one supportive argument. Then quantifiability. See, in the scope of sociology, I have told you the scope of sociology is widening and it is going unlimited, etc. But if you see different thinkers, like for example, Emile Durkheim, what he said? He said study social facts. That is a scope of sociology. That means he defined the scope of sociology. Similarly, Max Weber, he said study social action. He also defined the scope of sociology. So various thinkers actually have defined the scope of sociology. Emile Durkheim even defined the extreme abstract forms of social facts. So, can I say considerable amount of quantifiability is also there in sociology?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. So, then regarding objectivity. Objectivity, what we are going to say is complete objectivity is never possible in sociology because we are dealing with human beings. So what we will say here, absolute objectivity is never possible in sociology, but sociologists while conducting the study will try to ensure maximum possible objectivity by using proper methods, proper training of the investigator, etc. So we are stressing on objectivity, and there is an element of objectivity also in sociology. We are trying to remain neutral, and the proper methods are used, reasoning is done. Okay, so in that context we can say, and there is one more famous statement by Weber, absolute objectivity is neither desirable nor possible in sociology. That we will discuss later. But here, what we are doing, the sociologist is trying to get the maximum possible objectivity. Obvious limitations are there in sociology because we are dealing with human beings. But we are trying to ensure the maximum possible objectivity. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I missed that. One more time I'll write. Intersubject reliability, quantifiability, objectivity, theory building, testing. So what we said is intersubject reliability is there, quantifiability is there, objectivity is there. So sociology is having theories or not?
Yes, sir.
Sociology is having so many theories. You can quote from your syllabus only. Marx theory of history. Simply if you take Marx, you can talk about historical materialism, mode of production, alienation, class struggle. If you talk about Durkheim, you will talk about division of labor, suicide, okay, and then theory of religion, theory of social facts. When you talk about Weber, there is a theory of Protestant ethic and spirit of capitalism, okay, then theory of social action, bureaucracy, authority. Then when we talk about Parsons social system, when we talk about Merton anomy, when we talk about Mead's, a lot of theories are there. So there is no problem in theory part. So this is also there. Correct? And what we are going to say in case of testing is, there is the theories which are made are testable also. Okay, and then when it comes to the criticism, we will criticize everything. At this point, what we are focusing on, yes. Tell me.
Can you please give example of testing?
No,
theories?
testing, I will talk about that when we discuss about arguments against.
Okay. Because I think that theories won't be able to give replicate results.
No. Replication I'm not talking about. Replication is never possible in sociology. We are not going to say replication.
The fifth point is testing, no?
Yeah, testing. But what we will say is the entire society is the testing ground of a sociologist. For example, when I talk about this theory of alienation, this is actually used to explain the current situation of individuals facing alienation because of the excess use of social media and the internet, computer. So like that you can apply these theories, not somewhat testing. You can never replicate the result in sociology because you are dealing with human beings. When I'm talking about science, natural science, I can do that. I can tell that if I boil the water at 100 degrees Celsius, it will definitely get hot. I know what is going to happen if I boil the water. I know what will happen if I freeze the water. But similarly in the theory of class struggle, we use the theory of class struggle to explain the inequalities which are present in the current society, like developing and underdeveloped countries, etc. So we will say the sociological theories are relevant, and you can test also. The testing is done through application. In sociology, that is what you can do. You cannot you cannot test by marriage. The theories which are made upon family and marriage, you cannot test by marrying. No, you cannot keep on marrying, or you cannot keep on creating families and you can test the theories in sociology. So the testing is done through reasoning. The testing is done through application in sociology.
Okay, sir.
Are you getting the point? Yeah.
Can we not justify testing with the theory of ideal types of Weber?
No, that I will discuss. None of the people here will understand what is ideal type. So at this point of time, we don't want to.
No. I'm asking that Weber said that the 4 types of power, like ideal types.
Yes, yes. No, actually, power when it comes to power, it is not 4 types. It is 3 types.
Within this ideal type.
Yes. 3 types of power, not 4 types.
It is a power of theory.
Yeah.
Okay. So if there is a power of theory, so every kind of power comes within this ideal type. So testing is possible in that case, because testing is justified, because none of the types of power is going out of this ideal type. Within this, any type of power will exist.
Yeah, that is one way, but even then these Weber's ideal types later modified by Parson into different other types also. So we don't want to use that for testing purpose. We don't want to tell that. Testing is done through mainly application of the theory in sociology. Testing is done through reasoning. We can't test like what natural science. What you are saying is, let's suppose Weber is talking about rational authority, Weber is talking about charismatic authority, Weber is talking about traditional authority. So any power you can compare it with this. This is what you are saying, right?
Yes, sir.
Now this in detail we will discuss later when it comes to the theory. At this point, we don't want to discuss this concept. Just don't discuss about this thing now, because most of the people won't understand and they will get afraid also. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, here, so what I'm saying is there is a considerable amount of intersubject reliability is there. Yes? Yeah, tell me. Yeah, Akhila,
To
tell me.
compare, if two sociologists has conducted the survey on same theory, by comparing both the theories, we can test right the result is exact or not.
We can test, but it will not be possible in terms of if you conduct survey and all, it will be very difficult. In case of sociology, there are obvious limitations.
Okay.
Let's discuss about the second part of this also. Now see, when I am talking about, this is the first part. So here, what is my endeavor? What is my objective? I am talking about arguments in favor of sociology. I have one more part which is left out. There I am going to raise all these questions which is given by you. I myself will be talking against all these things that I have told. Okay, I will tell there is a obvious problem in quantifiability, a problem in intersubject reliability, there are problems in objectivity and theory building and testing. We will tell that also. So we will see the two sides.
I am telling, supporting to sociology only in testing method. To utmost level with comparison we can do testing with support of the sociology.
Yes, Akhila, I understood what you're saying. You are saying suppose there is a theory which is developed. You are saying that you can go for survey method and etc. and you can get the details and you can prove the theory, right?
Between two sociologists on the same theory.
Yes, but do you think, let's suppose you conducted a theory on domestic violence, okay? You yourself conducted a study on domestic violence and you went on to ask to some people in your neighborhood area and you made a conclusion based on that. Or those people who's known to you, you made a conclusion that domestic violence is because of alcoholism. Now some other person, I want to check this theory. So I will go to my neighborhood area and I will ask to the people. So do you think that they will give the same conclusions?
No.
So there are obvious limitations in sociology for testing even by using whatever method that you are using. So what we need to be very moderate and moderate terms we will use to explain this. We can say testing is done through reasoning and mostly that is what actually done in sociology and application. So it's all about relevance of the theory. The relevance of the theory can be understood in terms of its application, how much it is applicable. And the relevance of the theory can also be understood in terms of its future use by the different thinkers. So in sociology, when we talk about this testing, it is more or like the relevance of the theory. Actual testing cannot be done. But for the sake of saying, we can say the entire society is a testing ground for sociologists. But we cannot test anything in the lab like what the natural scientists can do. We don't have any lab. The entire society is a testing ground. Okay, let's not get into that deeper. Yes.
Question. As we talked about the arguments in favor of these five about testing. Okay, we talked about the arguments in favor.
Yes.
So testing, some tools are required, right? If family qualifies the first criteria, like inter-subject reliability, then what are the tools that we use to study the family?
No, like what you said just before only you said something that the ideal types. So we can make the testing on the basis of the ideal types you created. For example, you will say the functions of family. So you will talk about the functions in terms of economic security. Okay, economic security, and then emotional security, and maybe sexual gratification. Okay, and then you can say taking care of child, taking care of old. So on the basis of all these, people will make theories, and then you can check the theories on the basis of this thing. But obvious limitations are there.
In terms of function.
In terms of function, functionalist theory in terms of function, in terms of dysfunction, in case of dysfunctional theories, there are different theories coming out of different perspectives. So Marx will say family is an exploitative device. Just because of family only you are going to work, and in the workplace you are getting exploited because family is sending you for the work. Otherwise nobody can exploit you. Okay, so there are different theories which is coming in sociology with different perspective, but that's not the case with science. Science, Newton's theory means that is the same. You can't do any change in that. But here in family, we will get hundreds of theory in family, hundreds of theories are there in religion.
Okay, sir.
So all the answers you will get for this once we complete the syllabus. Okay.
Sir, one question please.
Himanshu, tell me.
Sir, when you gave an example of the neighborhood. Suppose two sociologists are conducting a survey in the same neighborhood and they develop different perspective about the neighborhood. Will come up with a theory that it is because of the alcoholic. Theory that it is because of.
I am not able to
what
hear.
What is the extent of object? Hello?
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, two sociologists are conducting the experiment in the same neighborhood, and one of them come up with a theory that domestic violence is because of alcoholism, and other one come up with a theory that domestic violence is because of the patriarchy. So what is the extent of objectivity that we desire in sociology?
Absolute objectivity is neither desirable nor possible in sociology. For example, when Marx and Durkheim, both thinkers, were writing in the same material context, in the same society, same European society, but both were writing and both were giving exactly opposite theories on family, on religion, and all the social institutions. So it all depends on the perspective of the thinker, or it all depends on the perspective of the...
Then which theory?
Yeah.
Then how can we decide that this theory is correct and this is not, or this is applicable and this is not applicable?
We would say the integrated approach is better, and we would say both are required. Both are giving different perspectives. Both are the two sides of the same coin.
Okay.
So what you cannot say, see, patriarchy is one reason and alcoholism is one reason. When you are living in patriarchal society, that is why you consume alcohol and you are coming and hitting. If you are living in a matriarchal society, even you won't consume alcohol only.
Yes.
You won't dare to consume alcohol in that society, right? You may not have money also. Every money will be with the female. Female will be the head of the family. So the typical Nayar's family and old case, not
yes.
Now the system has entirely changed. Typical matriarchal family, the property and land and everything belong to the female. Female is the head of the family. So male don't have money also, so no power also. So all the combinations of reasons are possible. There are plurality of causes for any phenomena in sociology. So all these things you will see. It takes some time to understand those things. No? We will discuss everything. So what I'm saying is these answers in the first 3 chapters, any answer you will be in a position to answer better once we complete the syllabus. At this point, the objective, see, this is there in the initial chapters. That is the only reason why I'm interested to teach this. Otherwise, actually, I don't have any interest in teaching these first 3 chapters, because you will develop a better... I don't want to tell all these things. Once we complete the syllabus, you should be writing from your side. What do you mean by intersubject reliability? What all things I have told you in a better way you can write. What do you mean by quantifiability? To what extent in sociology quantifiability possible? What do you mean by objectivity, and to what extent objectivity is possible and not possible in sociology? Similarly, you are going to study all this theory and you will be in a position to interpret whether these theories are objective or correct or universally applicable or not. So I'm actually only thing that you need to know is this, and it's up to you to add the contents here. I am saying something in favor which is coming to my mind and something against. You can take it or not, but ultimately they are correct only, but you will be in a position to write it. And you don't want to mug up or learn just like this. These chapters, just attend the class and read once, leave it as such. Let the syllabus be completed, and after that you come back and read, you will get better perspective. This is common for the first 3 chapters. Even the 3rd chapter is about research methodologies. Okay, so research methodologies, there are a lot of methods, and in the syllabus it is given that research methodology, it is hundreds of research methods are there. We cannot study everything, but what we do in general, the most important methods we'll study. Apart from that, from the thinkers you will see a lot of methods, and that you need to study, and that is how we are doing. Okay, so here we were talking about this. Okay, I deleted that. Intersubject reliability. Okay, then quantifiability, then objectivity, then theory, then testing. Now, arguments against, you don't want to write too much. You can say there are obvious limitations in quantifiability in sociology, because the scope cannot be defined as precisely, because sociology is permeating through each and every aspect of social life. Then objectivity, you can say absolute objectivity is never possible in sociology as demanded by natural science. That is never possible. Theory building, you can say although sociologists framed various theories, but none of the theories are universally applicable. For example, when you talk about a theory on caste system, in no other society except India caste system is there. Okay, so similarly, testing, there are obvious limitations in testing in sociology, because so in sociology you don't have any lab or anything to test like in natural science. So these are the arguments against that you can write in the context of these 5 conditions. So what we have done, we have talked about the context. This should be your structure of the answer, context. Then I have explained what you mean by science. Science initial understanding was based on empiricism, naturalism and inductivism. Later science came to be understood more in terms of method of inquiry. Okay, and I've given you 5 conditions for any body of knowledge to become science: intersubject reliability, quantifiability, objectivity, theory building, theoretical orientation and testing. So these 5 conditions. Then we talked about arguments in favor of sociology being science, and then arguments against sociology being science. Now what we need a conclusion. So what you say, what you will tell in the conclusion? Sociology is a science or not? That is the question ultimately. So we have done this much. Now you need to develop the conclusion here. What you will say?
Sir, it depends on the perspective that, it depends on the person who is, dealing with the theory building or during the research. It depends on the perspective, I think.
Sir, if you look at it from the perspective of natural science.
If you look at from the perspective of natural science, it is obviously not science. If we look at from this perspective, empiricism, naturalism, inductivism, sociology is never science. But if you look at this perspective, we can say
sociology is not a yes. And if you look at from the perspective of
So sociology is science to some context, not completely.
Yeah, so what we can conclude is, I'll give you a conclusion here, just keep this conclusion in mind, and anyway the PDF is coming. So sociology is a science. Why? Because the method of inquiry is scientific, but it is not similar to natural science. So this is my conclusion: sociology is science, but not similar to natural science. Okay, and then you can explain the difference between subject matter. Difference in subject matter between sociology and natural science. This is actually given by Weber. I'll tell you what is this difference. What Weber said is, science is dealing with matter who's having no consciousness. The behavior can be predicted easily, and you can establish the cause and effect relationship objectively. Like what I've told you, if you boil water at 100 degrees Celsius, what will happen, If you freeze it at the freezing point, what will happen, So you can predict the behavior. But sociology is dealing with human being whose behavior cannot be predicted. So establishment of cause and effect objectively is not possible. Okay, and absolute objectivity is neither possible nor desirable in sociology. So what Weber says is, sociology is a science, but not similar to natural science. It is a science because the method of inquiry is scientific. The investigations in sociology is done in a scientific way by using proper method, proper logic, proper evidence, reasons, etc. So in that context, sociology is a science and we call it as a social science. So if the question is about, is sociology a science? Yes, sociology is science. Is it similar to natural science? No, it is not similar to natural science. Obvious limitations are there. But it is a science in itself and it is a social science. The method of inquiry is scientific in sociology. So this should be your conclusion. Now, any doubts here?
No, sir.
So I'll go to the PDF now.
No, sir.
Durkheim?
Hello.
Yeah, tell me.
Durkheim regarded sociology to be a positive science.
Yeah, Durkheim, not positive science. Durkheim is saying Durkheim is a positivist, and Durkheim considers sociology as a science.
Positive science or only science?
Science. And positivism is one of the method used by positivism is actually, positivist basically says science. Positivism basically use the methods from natural science. Okay, the PDF I have shared with you, have you read that?
Yes, sir.
So it was science only, or the name inside the content was different?
Sir, it is all about Weber.
Okay, so I had sent you Weber. Now I also don't have this content now. I am also getting it Weber. The upload, when I uploaded it, is by mistake I have uploaded Weber.
I thought to remind you, but I thought that is this the topic? That's why I didn't say anything.
No, so somebody should have told me. Okay, can you hold on for 2-3 minutes?
Yes, sir.
I may get disconnected, but I'll come soon. Okay. Okay, can you see this?
It's still opening, sir.
Yes, sir.
So you can see here, sociology emerged as a scientific discipline. Discuss the statement in the light of the debate whether sociology is a science or not. So you briefly have to talk about the emergence of sociology here. You need to talk about modernity, and you need to talk about Saint Simon, okay, that we have discussed social physics, and you need to talk about Auguste Comte, and then you need to also talk about Herbert Spencer briefly, comparison with organism, that we have done already in scope of sociology. So add then this discussion also you need to bring in, that we are going to discuss, and that the one which we have already discussed. Then next is direct give arguments for and against sociology being scientific discipline. So you need to talk about the context, and then you need to say what is science, and then you need to say the contemporary understanding of science, and then the conditions, then arguments for, arguments against, and then go for the conclusion. Is sociology a science? Same like this, okay? So now sociology emerged as a distinct discipline in response to challenges posed before modernity in medieval Europe. So I've told you already, any question from the first 3 chapters, you have to write this. So here we are talking about modernity, medieval Europe, the challenges, and sociology emergence. The orientation of initial sociologists was to develop sociology on the line similar to natural science. So the scientific revolution in the field of astronomy, medical science is one word, one only. Physics and biology led intellectuals to dream of a discipline which could generate similar universal laws of social organizations. Saint Simon even dreamt of social physics. Auguste Comte, the founding father of sociology. See, whenever you are writing this name for the first time, you have to say it like this. Auguste Comte, the founding father of sociology, claimed to have developed laws of universal laws of social organization. Okay. Similarly, Herbert Spencer's organismic analogy, that society he compared with organism, this analogy that we have discussed yesterday, and within society subsystems he compared with organs, and then groups he compared with tissues, and then individuals he compared with cells. So this is already there in your note from the scope of sociology. Was also guided by the same assumptions of science. As sociology developed, questions were raised on the possibility of employing the basic assumptions of natural science in sociology. This is basic. Objections were raised on the validity of the universal law developed by initial sociologists. Like I've told you already, Comte's laws were rejected because of the logical errors. This initiated a debate on the nature of sociology, that is, sociology is a science or not. Okay, so this is the context. Now what you need to do is, from this much, this is around close to 100 words, you have to develop 30 to 40 word introduction from here. It will be a very difficult task, but whatever you feel the most important point, you get that and make a 30-40 words introduction. The roots of this debate are located in the basic understanding of the term science. Now here we are going to talk about that basic understanding. So initially, that means during 19th century, the science was mainly drew from natural century. The understanding, here you add a word, understanding of science. Understanding, I will, today I will send you without editing, but I will edit it and I'll send you later. The understanding of science mainly drew from natural sciences. The body of knowledge was considered as science only if it yields universal law, this is one condition, and conforms to the ideals of empiricism and inductivism. So empirical, inductivism, okay. So these are the 3 conditions. It has to yield universal law, empirical, inductive approach you should follow. Subsequently, with the intellectual development, the conception of science underwent a change. Gradually, science came to be understood more in terms of method of inquiry rather than body of knowledge. This is more important for us. If it is based on this 3 condition, we can never say sociology is science, because it is deductive approach used. Laws are not universally applicable. We are studying the internal aspects. It is not empirical. Meanings, motives, emotions of the people, these are not empirical. Okay. Science has been defined as any systematic study based on evidence and reason. It assumes that if the explanations are given in a logical, scientific or reasoned manner, they must be considered as scientific. So in this context, we can say sociology is a science because a logical, scientific and reasoned manner, there are explanations in sociology. Some conditions were laid down: intersubject reliability, objectivity, quantifiability, theoretical orientation, testing. All we have discussed. So what is intersubject reliability? It means that the concepts framed by any body of knowledge should have the same meaning for different people. That is, a concept should be defined precisely. Objectivity, there should be possibility of undertaking investigation without personal biases or preconceptions. Quantifiability, it should be possible to observe things in a quantifiable manner. That means the scope should be defined precisely. Theoretical orientation means the body of knowledge must be capable of generating theories. Then you can add here testing also. This is not much importance. This testing we don't want to focus too much, but still you can add that. Now, arguments in favor. As a body of knowledge, sociology is considered a scientific discipline on the basis of following arguments. There is a considerable amount of intersubject reliability in the concepts framed by sociology. For example, the concepts like family, religion, groups, etc. defined precisely and have the same meaning for all. Social objects or phenomena can be understood in a concrete form through proper description of case studies. Proper description using case studies. The social objects or phenomena can be understood in a concrete form through proper description using case studies. For example, various phenomena like social groups, social institutions have been quantified clearly. So, quantifiability. Now, we are also talking about Emile Durkheim's case. Emile Durkheim, while defining the scope of sociology, tried to quantify even the extreme abstract forms in his theory of social fact. This you will study when we discuss about Durkheim. Now, third is related to objectivity. So, this was the second one. This was the second one. This is the first one. Now, third one related to objectivity. So, absolute objectivity is not possible, but sociology has ensured objectivity by using scientific methodology and a proper training of the investigator. Okay, sociology has developed theories which have considerable applicability on number of situations. Although there is an apprehension regarding the success of universal theories, still the subject matter of sociology is capable of yielding some theories. For example, you can write any theories here that you are going to study in the coming session. I have added only those thinkers: Marx, Durkheim, Weber, Mead from your syllabus. Then this one, sociology uses method, and the whole society is the testing ground for sociologists. Thus, sociology witnesses a large number of similar situations in which the theories can be tested. Now, arguments against, that means limitations. In terms of sociology being similar to natural science, there may be number of limitations. Okay, similar to natural science, there may be number of limitations, include empirical testability, universal theories, etc. Absolute objectivity as described in science as desirable, described or desirable, both are fine, better word is desirable. Absolute objectivity as desirable in natural science, if you add it will be more better. Natural science is not possible in sociology. At times there are obvious limitations on experimentation in sociology. Apart from this, sociological investigations sometimes generate controversies related to vagueness in concepts, variations in social phenomena, and unpredictable nature of human beings. Now let's move to the conclusion. So what we will say in conclusion, in this context it is acknowledged that sociology is not a science similar to natural science, but it is a science in itself. So it is clear that it is not a science similar to natural science, but it is a science in itself. Difference in the nature of sociology is drawn from the basic subject matter. The ultimate reducible element of sociology is an individual. According to Max Weber, you have to quote this paragraph, cut, copy, paste exactly you need to do. Natural science study matter which do not have any consciousness and the behavior can be predicted in terms of cause and effect objectively. On the other hand, sociology study human being, the behavior of which cannot be predicted, and thus exact laws are not possible. According to him, sociology is a scientific discipline as it can study the subject by using scientific methodology. So what I have told you beginning, if the investigation is done in a recent way, if it is done in a scientific way, it is a science. So in that context, Weber says it is a science. So you can use exactly this paragraph, cut, copy, paste exactly the same and conclude your answer. Okay? Now, thus, sociology is a social science. Moreover, famous statement by Karl Popper further proves sociology to be a scientific discipline. Science is not a body of knowledge, but a method of studying a phenomena. This is what I've told you in the beginning. Science is understood more in terms of method of inquiry rather than body of knowledge. It is a method of inquiry. Method of studying phenomena means method of inquiry rather than body of knowledge. So if you want, you can write the statement also so that you can incorporate one more thinker. Okay? So that's about sociology as science. So what we did, one more time I'll tell you, okay, any problem? Is the voice is clear?
There's a problem with the voice, sir.
Now or before also?
Still.
No. I'm asking, when I've read the PDF, was that clear or not?
Yes,
it was clear. Yes, sir, it was clear.
Okay, so any doubts? It was like this. We have to discuss about the context first. So that we have done the debate of this discussion, and then we explain what is science. It should give universal law, empiricism and inductivism. Then science understood more in terms of method of inquiry rather than body of knowledge. Then you have 5 conditions. Okay, and then you have supporting arguments, and then you have supporting arguments and opposing arguments. Then you have conclusion. In conclusion, you will quote Max Weber and Karl Popper, and that's it. So you will say sociology is not a science similar to natural science. Sociology is not a science similar to natural science, but it is a science in itself. And the difference is the basic subject matter. So we can call
the structure of the answer will be the same for every type of question, like critically analyze.
No. Critically analyze. Even see, this structure you can use for almost all the types, because this is a standard case. You can't change anything more in this. When it comes to the words discuss, comment, critically analyze, etc. will matter when it comes to especially thinkers. Here, whatever, even if it is discussed, you have to write all these contents. Even if it is comment, you have to write all these contents. Even if it is critically analyzing, you will be writing all these, because this is the mostly critical analysis part. So here it doesn't vary much. These are general questions. So here there is no much variation. You have to incorporate all these things in your answer. Okay?
Okay, sir.
So any doubts? This is about the structure. So
No, sir. No doubt.
this topic is clear. No, this is only thing is that you need to remember this 5 points. First one, inter-subject reliability, then quantifiability, then objectivity, then theory. This 4 is enough. If you want one more, you can add testing. So with that you can explain the context we know, what is science we know, the conditions we know, supporting arguments you will definitely get, criticizing arguments you know, then the conclusion you caught these 2 thinkers. That's it. It's over. So any doubts? Gargi, you have any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay, any others?
No doubt, sir.
Can we
No doubt, sir.
stop
Yes,
then?
sir. Method criticism.
Pardon, Aguila, can you repeat?
Scientific method criticisms.
Which criticism?
Scientific method.
Scientific method?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you want to criticize on this. We are saying we are using scientific methods, so why we need to criticize that? For example, when we discuss about thinkers, we will discuss a lot of scientific methods. For example, indirect experiment, okay, and then statistical techniques. Although this is directly from natural science, but is used by the thinkers. Then multivariate analysis, multivariate. All these three methods you will see in Durkheim. Then when it comes to Weber, you will see some more. Verstehen, ideal types, okay, comparative analysis. So basically causal pluralism, all these you can write if you want to substantiate that point in the conclusion. For a few methods which are used by sociology to study the phenomena, these are the different methods. But otherwise also it's fine, that answer is fine. If you want to add, you can add these methods, scientific methods. Now you don't want to break your head for these methods. All these methods, all these are, individual questions. This can be asked as a 10 marker, this can be asked as a 10 marker. All these are actually asked as 10 markers. So anytime you expect this, when it comes to the thinkers, we will discuss this.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, anything else?
No, sir.
Others?
No, sir.
Can we stop? Can we stop?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. Bye.
Bye, sir.
So, see you tomorrow.